Some of the common stresses are tensile stress, compressive stress, bending stress, shear stress and torsional shear stress. Tensile stress is the simplest of stresses, and therefore in structural construction, members containing only tensile stress is very often used especially in bridges. In this figure, we see a bridge hung by vertical tensile members which are connected at the upper points to another steel cable which is also in tension. Sometimes a bridge may be hung by what are called stay wires or stay cables. In a tensile member, what matters is the area of cross-section of the member and the tensile strength of the material. Compressive stress is more complicated because a compressive member can fail by simple crushing or buckling or a combination of crushing and buckling. A short compression member, when acted by a vertical load, may break into pieces when the load is very large. This is called crushing. In crushing, we may use the simple formula W equals FA, where W is the crushing load, F is the crushing stress, A is the area of cross section of the member. If the member is long or slender, it may fail by buckling. Buckling means that the column is bending sideways as shown in the figure. Short columns are also called stocky columns, and long columns are called slender columns. A member which is neither short nor slender may fail by a combination of crushing and buckling. If a member is slender, it will fail by buckling, and the buckling load can be found by what is called Euler formula. If the member is neither short nor slender, we can consider it as a column of intermediate length. Most practical columns are of this intermediate length, and they fail by a combination of crushing and buckling, and we may use the Perry-Robertson formula. Perry-Robertson formula was first published by Perry and later modified by Robertson and further modified by the Cambridge University. Perry-Robertson formula is too long for hand calculations. Therefore, the design codes have devised a method of calculating the permissible stress PC based on Perry-Robinson formula and given in tables. So using these tables, we can use the simple formula W equals A P C, where W is the crippling load, A is the area of cross section, PC is the stress derived from Perry-Robinson formula. Whether a column is short, slender or intermediate depends on its slenderness ratio. Slenderness ratio is given by the letter lambda, and lambda is given by lambda equals LE over R. LE is the effective length of the column. LE is the effective length of the column. LE depends on how the ends of the column are connected to beams. Also, the size of the beams compared to the size of the column also matters. For a first floor column, the bottom connection, for a first floor column, the bottom connection is the foundation, where the foundation may be small or large. If the foundation is small, there is a possibility of the foundation rotating so that the bottom end of the column loses its verticality. When the foundation is large, the bottom of the column remains vertical. Theoretically, the effective lengths are given as follows. Practically, the effective length is not taken as 0.5 even when both ends are fixed. The minimum value is 0.7 L, and we can obtain guidance from the various codes. Radius of gyration can be calculated from the formula root of I over A. For a column of rectangular cross section, there will be two values of R, one with respect to x direction and the other with respect to y direction, that is Rx and Ry. Rx for the strut shown in the figure equals දැන් මේ වගේක් ඉස්සරහට කිව්වා. දැන් මේ මේජර් ඇක්සිස් මයිනර් ඇක්සිස් කියන එකට සම්බන්ධ කරලා මේක දාගන්න ඕන. With respect to the figure shown, we see the column will buckle with respect to the y-axis. Now the y-axis is here. Now y goes there. So we say it is buckling with respect to the y-axis. Since it is buckling with respect to the y-axis, we call x-axis as the major axis and y-axis as the minor axis. Whether a column is short, slender or intermediate is defined by its slenderness ratio. The column type and their slenderness ratios are indicated below. The Euler formula for a pin-ended strut or column may be written as follows. Effective length LE equals K into actual length. So the one both ends spin. So K equals 1. Therefore LE equals 1 into L equals L. So P equals pi squared EI over L squared. LE down there, then L. K equals half.
In deriving his formula,
Euler made the following assumption. According to Euler assumptions, his load deflection graph will be as shown in red. We note that the Euler graph consists of a vertical line and a horizontal line. The vertical line means that the column will not deflect even slightly at loads less than the buckling load. And at the buckling load, the column will suddenly buckle. Right? Buckling load එකට අඩුව පොඩ්ඩක්වත් buckle වෙන්නේ නැහැ. ඒක straight තියෙනවා. Buckling load එකේදී එකපාරට buckle. ඒක තේරෙනවද? දැන් අදින්න අපේ graph එක. Euler curve කියන්නත් පුළුවන්. In the graph drawn in the lab by us, the column will start buckling even at loads less than the buckling load and is shown by the blue curve. This is because in the laboratory, none of the Euler assumptions will be realized.